time for sound design. Today I will sample old hip-hop records to create a drum kit from. This is the stack of records. They're all linked down in the description. And from each record I recorded a little bit of drums, and I'm gonna chop all those drums up, all the individual hits, and organize them in a drum rack so I can use them later in my electronic music. So just to give an example, this is Who Knew from Eminem, where there's an open snare in the instrumental. So I will just grab that snare. And I will do this for all these 16 records and create a drum kit with 16 sounds. How I recorded the sounds is I used the turntable behind me, this side, and my mixer, and the mixer going directly into the sound card. So I didn't apply any compression or EQ or anything like that. I'll all do that later in the drum rack, but first I will chop up all these recorded parts into the individual hits. So I'll show you the first one. Going into the clip, adjusting the start point and the end point. I don't want to trim it too short, so I can later do that. And then right click, crop sample. So now I have the snare drum. I still won't apply any EQ. I will do that later when I move them into the drum rack. Okay, now I'll have to do this for all the 16 sounds. The snares, the kicks, and the hi-hats. So I'll speed it up for you. Alright, so I have chopped up all the samples and it looks like this now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 snares, 5 kicks, and 5 hi-hats, or 4 hi-hats and a clap, so it sounds like this. There's no EQ applied to this yet. What I also did is I prepared a drum rack, and on each slot of the drum rack I inserted a utility and a EQ, and the utility is to make the sound mono, and the EQ is to either cut some of the low end out for the snares and hi-hats, or maybe some EQ on the high end for the kick drums. So the next thing is to put all these samples in this drum rack in an organized way. So what I will do is I will start with the kick drums and put them in. So the first one on the first slot. Might have to adjust the start point a bit because I cut them loose enough, so there's enough space. The volumes, of course, need to be relative to each other, so I leave it for now and just put the volume of the sample to 0. And then going to the second sample. I'm actually going to put it here. So I do all the kick drums here, snare drums here, hi-hats here, and then I have 4 slots over for the rest. They all have pretty long tails. For now I leave it. But when you start making a beat, you might feel like there's too much noise building up, so then there's something to remove. have this last kick drum left. I'm gonna put it on the fourth column. So that's the kick drums. Then going to the snares. I think I'm gonna make most of the samples mono because it doesn't need to be stereo. Do also a low cut on the snares because there's too much rumble otherwise. Alright, then the remaining two snares on the fourth column. This is a bit of a tedious work, but will pay off in the end. We'll have a drum kit that we can use for many tracks. Oh, this is a very good snare, very solid. Alright, then moving on to the hi-hats. The first one. So for the hi-hats I will do a low cut of maybe even 500. And lower the volume also a little bit because generally I want them to be lower. Something like this. The volumes I can adjust later anyway. The shaker. See, there's a lot of low rumble. It's basically two shakers, so maybe like this. Here you can see also under 100 Hertz there's a lot of rumble. I changed the envelope here to classic, and then there's release. So I'm going to make it shorter because there's a lot of noise on this sample. And the last one is a clap. Bit of a bass note in the end. Something like this. All right, now mute all the sample tracks. So the first thing now to do is to save this drum rack, so we have it as is. And then I'm going to create a beat just to see if the samples work, or I need to do more cleaning up of it. So actually see that the snare here doesn't have any EQ. Just checking that everything has EQ that I want to have EQ on. Alright, so saving this drum kit as hip hop vinyl drums. And now the exciting part, let's create a beat. So as you can see, you can create pretty nice grooves with it. The sounds have some character because they're from vinyl, samples from vinyl, and they have the tail and some noise on it. I kind of like that. That's why I do it. If you don't have any vinyl or a record player or a mixer or anything like that, you can do this with software called Audio Hijack. I will link it down below as well, which basically records any sound that you play on your computer. So you can go to any streaming service or YouTube, find some stuff, record it with Audio Hijack, and then put it into Ableton and basically do the same thing. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.